Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Wealth Defense Radio. Today, we are tackling a little bit of a heavier topic, I would say. We're going to talk about what to do maybe when a parent dies and the steps to take after that. So, this is a very situational podcast, but it is going to be important for people in certain stages of their life. Unfortunately, my name is Josh Nahosa, and I am an independent advisor representative for SWAN DFW. That stands for Sleep Well at Night, Dallas, Fort Worth. And I am here with the man who founded SWAN, and his name is Hector and Josh. He is a certified financial planner, and he's been doing this since 1993.
That's correct. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, so why don't you deep dive, I guess, or not deep dive, but overview. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, it's happened a few times while I've been in the business and while we've had this firm, is that an adult child, their parent dies. And the parent is a client of ours, of Swan DFW, and their question to us was, what are some things that we should be doing? So we talked about that, and then the more I thought about it, I thought this would be something good to have the information out and easily accessible for somebody who is going through, something like this, because it's a hard thing, and many of us are going to have to go through it, and you don't want to be making it up as you go through. So
this is going to be, I guess, 5 steps.
Yeah,
more or less, on what to do when this happens. This may not be happening to you, but maybe you know somebody This is happening to. So maybe send this their way, because I'm sure you'll have a name in mind potentially as you hear this or read the title of the episode.
Yeah. Or if something happens a month or 2 or 5 down the road, remember it's here and you can come back and look for it.
Yeah, or even years down the road.
Years down the road. Yeah.
So let's get into this. So we have five steps, 5 things to do, I guess. Yeah. Our first one here is death certificates.
Yeah, and that's something we, in the midst of this, we don't really think about it, but as whoever you've arranged to take care of the services and whether it's going to be a funeral or cremation or whatever that's going to be, that funeral home is going to ask you about death certificates, and they'll typically tell you, we're going to give you, 1 or 2, or the first one maybe cost $50, and then after that they're like $1 or $2. You can't get too many, and you're going to need a certified. You can't make a copy of it. It's got to have the embossed lifting, and so I encourage people to get 10 or 15 or even 20 of them. You can keep them in a file for as long as you need them. But any place that you go that you are going to, and we're talking about the other 4 things, anywhere you go to do something for the deceased, they're going to require a death certificate. So get a bunch of them, because if you got to go back and get them, it's going to be another $50. Plus, it's not just the money. It just takes a while to get them. So while you're there, get a lot of them.
Yeah, you can't have too many of them,
sadly,
I guess.
That's true.
So that's going to be the first step. Yeah. Before you can really do anything else.
That's right.
You need to get that taken care of and squared away.
Right. And I guess, and we didn't put it on there, the other thing you need to know is if the bank finds out, or if you call the bank and say, hey, my husband or my wife just passed away, those can, depending on how they're papered, how they're titled, they'll lock. Right. So if it's a joint account, it's not a problem. But if person had an individual account, that money's going to be not accessible until you bring them a death certificate. So just be aware of that, and just get as many, 15 to 20 of them, and it's not going to hurt you, and it's going to keep you from going back and getting some.
Yeah. So our second thing here is going to be find the will, the trust, the insurance policies, any kind of financial account information. Ideally, that's organized.
Yes.
Some people, it's probably not. So that's going to be an important thing to be able to find and start to take care of.
Yeah, and you're right. And some will have it in a safe, or in a maybe a safety deposit box, or maybe just a metal box somewhere this individual had a file and all of his stuff was there. And getting a hold of those and then starting to take an inventory of what all is there. For most of our clients, we have all of the information. We have the account numbers, the phone numbers, and all of that. So it's easier for a family to kind of go through and start contacting everybody that needs to be contacted. But getting a hold of the information is good. And this is something to, maybe the parents, some of us that are a little older, make sure that your stuff everybody knows where it is, and that it's in a file, and that people can go to it and say, oh, this is everything that he has. I like to joke that at MetLife we did a study, cost us a lot of money, but it turns out that 100% of people are going to die. And so if you know that's coming, may as well get ready for it and make it easier for your children or your spouse to get to the money. My dad died when I was 10 years old, and I have a picture of my mom and my sister, and I was sitting on the bed, not being real helpful, but we had a closet, and there was a bunch of shoe boxes on the top, and all the shoe boxes had files, pieces of paper, receipts and stuff. And I remember them going through each piece of paper trying to find out if he had his life insurance, if he had, any number of things like that. So, if it's organized, that's even better. But get a hold of all of that stuff.
Yeah. Our third step here is going to be notify Social Security, the banks, the investment firms, credit bureaus, insurance companies about the death.
Yeah. And again, once you call a bank and you say, hey, this person has passed away, if it's a joint account, it's not a big deal, but know that if it's an individual account, unless it's what's called a transfer on death, then that money's going to be locked until you can prove up that he's passed away, and then hopefully, if it's an individual account, there's a beneficiary on it. But and that's why you're going to need all those death certificate. Each one of these folks is likely going to want a death certificate for their files, so that in case anybody comes down the road, audits why they did certain things, they have everything in file. So contact everybody that might have been doing business with them. And hopefully when you found all that information, you found a life insurance policy, and you want to contact them, to so that they can start processing the death benefit. The other thing is, if you have a life insurance policy, you can take that life insurance policy to the funeral home, and one of the services that they'll do is they will process the claim and then just take the funeral costs out of the proceeds. So if you got a $250,000 life insurance benefit and it's a $25,000 funeral that you decide, they'll get they'll get two checks cut, $225,000 for you and $25,000 for the funeral home. If you have a small insurance policy, that's probably a good idea. But if you've got $1 million, or $2 million policy, you probably don't want to take that to the funeral home, mainly because they know there's that much money that your funeral cost just went up significantly. But if you've got a smaller one, that's a good service to take advantage of. That way you're not having to wait for the money and then pay them. They want to make sure they get paid. They just want to make sure the money's there. Yeah. And we can do it that way.
Yeah. Our fourth thing, this would be if they're still working,
right,
probably, is going to be contact their employer.
Right.
For benefits like 401k, life insurance if they had it through work, other benefits that they may have had through their employer.
That's right. And so typically, depending on how big the firm is, they may get you in touch with a HR person, and there's usually HR people in bigger firms that are trained just to do this. But again, one of the things they're going to want to see is going to be a death certificate, and then they will release the information to the spouse or beneficiary about life insurance and 401ks and ESOPs or anything else the deceased may have had within the organization. And so, yeah, it's good for them to know that, and to know, sadly, that he's not coming in tomorrow, or she's not coming in tomorrow. Yeah. So that would be a good thing.
Yeah. Our fifth step here is alert the mortgage companies, credit card companies. You don't want any unauthorized charges or other things like activity, other stuff like that. Start settling some of the debt potentially.
Right. You want to contact the credit card companies, especially, so those things can get locked down, so somebody doesn't use a credit card that mom or dad may have had and rack up some charges that aren't part of that. So, we don't. Funny things happen when people find out that there's just some bad actors sometimes. That is just really sad. And then on they want something that's not on here, but I think it's important. On the day of the funeral, especially if it's going to be a big funeral, and hire somebody or have somebody stay in your home, because bad actors will know that if your mom or dad has passed away, everybody's going to go to the funeral. That leaves a home alone without any protection. Mm-hmm. I've seen a handful or heard of a handful of situations where, on top of grieving a loss, they come home to find out that their home has been broken into and stuff. So not very expensive to hire a security guard or even a family member, a distant family member who will stay home just to make sure there's somebody at the premise. Usually you're not going to have any trouble if there's somebody there. But sadly in today's world, probably a good thing to think about. And sometimes the spouse or the children may not be able to think that way, to think about things like that. But maybe if you're the grandchild or if you're a distant family member, you might say, hey, you know what? I don't think I'll be missed at the funeral. Let me stay at your home just in case something happens. And so that's a wise thing to do. And make sure you don't have any more exposure on the credit cards that are out there. Yeah.
Our last. I mean, that was 5, but one other thing, bonus, our bonus thing, we're all about bonuses here at Swan DFW. Our bonus thing is maybe don't make any major life decisions immediately following, say, like the first 6, 8, 12 months after.
We like to say a year. It's going to take a little while for everything to settle. The first week or two, depending, sometimes a month, to get the services and to get a service, or however your religion affiliation does things. But sometimes those are done within a few days. Sometimes it's going to take 3 to 4 weeks. There's people give enough time for that people are out of town. They can come in, schedule some time and do that. That's okay. So let's say that it takes 4, 5, 6 weeks after the date of passing that everything starts to get settled. All of a sudden, life insurance checks are going to come in. We're going to have to retitle investment accounts, make sure the beneficiaries. And so as all that starts to settle, sometimes the family and sometimes the surviving spouse will want to start making decisions and changing things, and we really encourage that person and that family to say, let's tap the brakes on anything. Let's wait a year. Let's make sure that you're through the mourning period as best you can, and you've got a clearer view of what you want to do long term. You don't want to do something in the moment and then 6 months, 8 months, a year later regret what you did. And so everybody having a little patience, and everybody just kind of letting mom or dad just kind of settle into their new normal, and not forcing them or keeping them from making any real big financial decisions and lifestyle decisions for a year might be a good thing as well.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about that or any other...
Or a story you'd like to share.
Yeah, or a story you'd like to share, or general retirement question, other financial questions, maybe personal financial questions. Yeah. We have a couple different ways that you can contact us. The first way is via phone number, and that is 888-792-6339. That spells out 888-SWAN-DFW. Or we have an email address, and that is info@swandfw.net. Both of those will be in the description wherever it is you're watching or listening.
Yeah. And give us a like or share this or make a comment or send us an email. If we can get more people to listen to this, we're here to educate more than anything else. And this was a tough one, but it's still good information to have.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah. Thank you and God bless.
The preceding content is informational only and based on information available when created. It is not an offer or solicitation, nor is it tax or legal advice. It does not consider your financial circumstances and objectives and may not be suitable for you.